cop for this view here. Whoa. Aye, so on our way to sunny Masson. So yeah, really taken with this bike. Now, as I said previously, because there is an inevitable comparison with the Royal Enfield 350s, the Royal Enfield 350, the J Series single, is a sweeter engine. It's got more personality. And I stand by that. It is. And I don't have an issue with the fact that it's only 20 brake horsepower, and that does limit you in certain respects, but it's all about adapting the style of your riding appropriately and not having unrealistic expectations. But with this bike, to my mind, you lose a little bit of character, but you gain the ability to comfortably make progress and execute overtakes that might possibly not be on with the Enfields. But just sat in the garage, this bike's very easy on the eye, particularly in this colour scheme, mist green. And okay, it might be the colour of something that I coughed up a couple of weeks ago. But it's a sort of 1960s, 1950s, 1960s colour, isn't it? You think back to the cars and bikes, British cars and bikes certainly, in the 50s and 60s. And they tended to have these sort of blue and green pastel colours, didn't they? Which are now very much back in fashion. But it's got a nice raspy, throaty exhaust note. So it sounds like a proper bike. And it handles really well. You've got an 18-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear, which is a sort of slightly unusual combination. But works perfectly well. And on the way into Pateley Bridge there's quite a few 60-mile-an-hour roads, and even with this engine feeling tight because the bike's brand spanking new, yeah, still tight as a drum, the engine, but even so, 6-speed box, 5th and 6th gear, 60-mile-an-hour, no problem, the bike's not straining. I'm not going to take liberties with this, obviously it's not my bike, and at some point it will belong to somebody, so there's no way I'm going to be ragging it. But it's got noticeably more torque than the Royal Enfield equivalent. And of course Andy, who features regularly on this channel, absolutely loves his to bits. He's had that since late last year. So we'll be coming up to a year with that bike, and he's delighted with it. There was that slight hiccup with the MPG, but that seems to be sorted now. And yeah, of course, the default comment seems to be, well, you talk about British heritage and the legacy of the British name, BSA, Birmingham Small Arms, but it's made in India. So it's a false equivalence. Well, I don't agree. I don't agree at all. It's about what it represents and how it makes you feel on the ride. And it makes me feel like I'm riding an old British motorcycle around the country lanes in the 50s, 60s and 70s. And that's all that matters to me. I couldn't give a monkey's where it's made. It's a bit like, was it Deng Xiaoping, didn't he say, it doesn't matter whether it's a black cat or a white cat, if it catches mice, it's a good cat. A famous quote. But I think it's a similar association with these bikes. It don't matter where it's made. It doesn't matter whether it's a British made bike or an Indian made bike. If it puts a smile on your face and it makes you feel good when you're riding it, then it's a good bike. Simple as that. And this is where we end up doing 5 miles an hour all the way into Lofthouse, because there ain't enough room for cars to safely pass these pedal cyclists, which creates a lot of frustration, and I shall leave it at that. So we're in sort of late August now, and in a week's time, by the meteorological standard, in what seems like no time at all, we're into autumn. And it's been a bit of a funny summer. It's been a cracking summer, some brilliant riding weather, but I've been pretty much out of it for a month, having COVID. And I've still got the residual cough, which apparently I'm going to have for weeks and weeks. I've still got a half knackered voice, as you may be able to tell. So that's been sort of like a month that I feel that I've been robbed of. But there you go. Let's hope we have some brilliant autumn riding weather. Although, oh God, there's so much worry and anxiety about, isn't there? Apparently, El Nino this year, this time around, El Nino is going to be the most powerful in living memory, like ever. I don't know how they know that it's the most powerful ever, because these things have only been measured fairly recently, but anyway. So they're reckoning next year, 2027, will be the hottest on record, by which I take it they mean global average temperatures. Don't necessarily mean it's going to be the same here again, although if we have a third successive lovely warm dry summer, I won't be complaining. But also apparently the quid pro quo of that means that Northern Europe, which of course includes us, courtesy of El Nino, could well get spanked with more storms and more flooding. Deep joy, there's always something. And I am by no means a climate change denier. You'd have to be blind to the obvious or a flat earther or something to say that things aren't getting warmer, because I can bloody well tell you, having been on this planet for over 60 years, it's definitely getting warmer. The summers are definitely getting warmer and the winters are definitely getting wetter and milder. I don't need a scientist to tell me that, because I've lived it. So, as far as I'm concerned, there's no question there whatsoever. What sort of troubles me from time to time is the wisdom or otherwise of the response to it. But maybe that's for another day. But anyway, yeah, but there's anxiety at every turn. When you look at YouTube, there's no shortage of channels there. And they're not Mickey Mouse channels, they're not AI channels, you know, they're presented by well-regarded, highly respected experts in the fields, whether that be economics, climate, politics, and ain't any of it looking good. Apparently the United States is in dire trouble with its national debt of $40 trillion apparently, which could signify the end of the petrodollar. They've had to lend because, as I understand it, Japan owns, or did own, an awful lot of American debt. The Americans, the States, have had to bail out Japan to stop them going belly up. Had to loan them about 20 billion. That ain't looking good, is it? That ain't looking good. But becomes more important when all these things are out there. A, to limit the amount of them that you watch, and I'm going to have to learn that lesson. And B, to seize every opportunity you can to come out and do this, or whatever your chosen distraction is. It was quite low geared, this bike, to be fair. Back then I thought I were in second, I were actually in third. So yeah, and I would expect to be in a lower gear in a lot of places with this bike. I'd expect to be in second here and we're in third, and the camera won't do it justice, but this is really, really steep. Yeah, if you were on like a classic 350, a Royal Enfield, you'd be down in second gear here, not third. So yeah, not at all shabby, the pull on this engine. And imagine when it's fully opened up, it'll be more than enough. Understand now why when Andy's out on his Bantam and I'm on, say, something like the Guzzi or the Voge, that at times I'm still having to give it some to keep up with him. Hey, hey. Cop for this view here. Whoa. And on a clear day you can see right over to Teesside from here. Right up in the northeast of England. Now what are you gonna do? Stay there. Look at all this heather, glorious, and it's not the best year either, but still beautiful. Hey. The ignition for this bike's under the tank on the right hand side, and above it there's another lock which is the steering lock. Obviously they both work with the same key, and I think it's quite a good arrangement. Certainly putting the steering lock on this bike is a damn sight easier than it is on some others, where if you don't get the position of the handlebars just right, it can be difficult to engage the steering lock. But with this having a steering lock completely separate from the ignition barrel, a lot easier. Stay there. But I mean, look at this. Out in the Yorkshire countryside, on a beautiful 1960s styled motorcycle. That looks, sounds, feels and rides very much like a vintage British motorcycle. But of course, comes with all the advantages of modern technology. this bike obviously loaned to me by BSA Motorcycles, and what I want to say about BSA Motorcycles is what a fantastic small size local dealership. Not only are they a BSA dealership, but they have a lot of top quality used motorcycles. And when I picked this bike up, I was looking at what they've got on offer, and every one of the dozen or so bikes, used bikes that they had, were all absolutely top-notch, superb, and all very, very reasonably priced. A lot less than I would have expected for bikes in that condition. So they won't sell any old rubbish that's used. They have some brilliant top quality used motorcycles there that are excellent value for money, and the after sales care is second to none. I mean, their philosophy there is one rooted in the reputational aspects of running a successful, worthwhile business. So I know that, you know, if you buy a bike from there, you need have no concerns whatsoever about the post-sales support. It is top notch. They are absolutely invested in doing the right thing, doing the very best that they can for you in any circumstances. So yeah, have a look online. I think a lot of them are, the bikes are up on eBay. Have a look. BSA Motorcycles. There's some cracking kit there, and I can tell you, having looked at it really close up, it's all top quality stuff. Aye, so yet again, day 2 on the very latest BSA Bantam 350. Just gets better. The more I gel with this bike, the bigger the smile it puts on my face. It's just got the perfect balance of style, performance, frugality, build quality, and value for money in spades for the initial capital outlay, round about £3,700. On that basis, I can't fault the bike. So I think once again with that, I will wish you safe riding. Implore you please to click the thumbs up for a like. Subscribe to the channel to help me out in these difficult times, and click that notifications bell, and then click all to make sure all notifications are enabled so that you get to see content when I upload it. And if you will do that small thing for me, I will be eternally grateful, and it will enable me to carry on producing content like this. So there we go. Thanks for coming along, and until the next time, I'll see you. Whoa.